Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Scholz. Today we have two more stories. They're both on the short side, so I figured why not put them together. And, well, the first is a very sweet and lovely tale. The second, it seems very sweet, but it's very sad and a little disturbing. But it's an origin story, and you know how I feel about those. This first one is The Little Weed, and the second is Goldenrod and Purple Aster. "You're nothing but a weed," said the children in the fall. The little weed hung its head in sorrow. No one seemed to think that a weed was of any use. By and by the snow came and the cold winds blew. There were many hungry little birds hunting for food. "Twit, twit, twee, see, see, see," sang a merry little bird one cold morning. "Here's a lovely weed full of nice brown seeds." And he made a good meal from those seeds that morning. Then 3 other little birds came to share the feast. The little weed was so happy that she held her head up straight and tall again. "This is what I was meant for," she said. "I am good for something." 4 hungry little birds had as many seeds as they wished for their breakfast. "Next year, I'll grow as many seeds as I can to feed many more hungry little birds. Goodbye, little birds," she called out to the feathery little friends. "Come again next year. I'll have another dinner for you." "Goodbye, little weed," sang the birds. "We've had a fine meal, and we thank you very much. You'll see us again next year. It is so hard to get enough to eat during the cold weather, and we are grateful to you for holding your seeds for us. It is so nice to find that one is some use after all, isn't it?" called out the little weed to her neighbor in the next field. And this is Goldenrod and Purple Aster. Once upon a time, a strange, wise woman lived in a little hut which stood on the top of a hill. She looked so grim and severe that people were afraid to go near her. It is said that she could change people into anything that she wished. One day, 2 little girls who lived at the foot of the hill were playing together. One was named Golden Hair and the other Blue Eyes. After a while, they sat down on the grassy hillside to rest. "I should like to do something to make everybody happy," said Blue Eyes. "So should I," said Golden Hair. "Let us ask the woman who lives on the hilltop about it. She is very wise, and she can surely tell us just what to do." "Oh, yes," said Blue Eyes, and away they started at once. It was a long, long walk to the top of the hill. Many times the little girls stopped to rest under the oak trees which shaded their pathway. They could find no flowers, but they made a basket of oak leaves and filled it with berries for the wise woman. The birds were singing in the treetops, and the squirrels were frisking about in the branches. Golden Hair and Blue Eyes stopped to laugh and talk with them. The little girls walked on and on up the rocky pathway. After a while, the sun went down, the birds stopped their singing, and the squirrels went to bed. The evening wind was resting. How still and cool it was on the hillside. Presently, the moon and stars came out. Then the frogs and toads awoke, beetles and fireflies flew about, and the night music began. Golden Hair and Blue Eyes were growing very tired, but on and on they climbed, until at last they reached the hut on the hilltop where the strange, wise woman lived. "See, she's standing at the gate," said Golden Hair. "How stern she looks." The little girls clung close together, and when they reached the gate, Golden Hair said bravely, "We know that you are very wise and came to see if you would tell us how to make everyone happy. Please let us stay together," said timid Blue Eyes. As she opened the gate for the children, the wise woman was seen to smile in the moonlight. Golden Hair and Blue Eyes were never seen again at the foot of the hill. The next morning, beautiful waving goldenrod and purple asters grew all over the hillside. Some say that these two bright flowers, which grow side by side, could tell the secret, if they would, of what became of the two little girls on that moonlit night. And that is The Little Weed and Goldenrod and Purple Aster. And The Little Weed is a lovely tale of, well, a plant that saves its seeds for the birds in wintertime, which is a heck of a thing to do. Goldenrod and Purple Aster is a story, an origin story of the goldenrod and the purple aster flowers, but my goodness, it includes an abduction and an old woman turning two children into flowers, which, that's dark. This is Dan Scholz of the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Overcast, anywhere you like to get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. And you can always head over to folktaleproject.com. You'll find a new story waiting for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. As always, thank you so much for listening.